Hello, friends. Welcome to Book Fuels. Today we're going to talk about the book How to Be Disciplined by Sheldon Howe. It was a cold winter evening. Riddick, who lived alone in a small flat in Delhi, was unhappy with his life. His job was going just okay, but deep inside, he felt like he wasn't doing anything big with his life. He often wondered, what do I actually want? One night, as he lay on his bed scrolling on his phone, he came across a book review. The book's name was How to Be Disciplined by Sheldon Howe. What a pointless topic, he muttered to himself. But somewhere inside, he felt that maybe this was exactly the book he needed. He immediately ordered it online. 3 days later, the book was in his hands. Riddick thought, let's see why this book is so popular. He took the book out to his balcony. The cold wind was blowing, and a cup of tea sat on his table. He opened the book and began reading the first chapter. The first chapter's name was Set Clear Goals. As soon as Riddick began reading, he felt like someone was holding a mirror to him. It said, setting clear and achievable goals is the foundation of discipline. Goals provide direction and motivation, making it easier to stay focused and measure progress. Riddick wondered why such a simple thing had never occurred to him before. He often dreamed big. One day, I'll start my own company, or I'll become an expert in digital marketing, but he had never actually planned his goals in detail. He looked at the next paragraph. If you don't know where you are going, you'll never get there. That one line hit him hard. True, he thought. I always think about doing something, but I don't even know exactly what that something is. He closed the book and went inside. Choosing the quietest corner of his room, he sat down with his notebook and decided that for the first time in his life, he would write down clear goals. The first line he wrote, 1. Focus on fitness. Lose 10 kilograms in the next 6 months. 2. Complete 3 advanced digital marketing courses. 3. Read 5 new books every month. When he finished writing, he closed the notebook and felt a strange sense of relief. It wasn't going to be easy, but for the first time, he had written his goals down so clearly. The next morning, he tried to start working on his first goal. He had set his alarm for 6 a.m., but when it rang, he immediately hit the snooze button. 5 more minutes, he told himself. Those 5 minutes turned into an hour. When he finally woke up and looked at the clock, it was already 7:30. Man, I failed again, he said angrily to himself. Then he remembered his book. He picked it up and reread the first page, where it said, failure is a part of the process. Don't be discouraged by small setbacks. Focus on getting back on track. He smiled and said to himself, all right, the book already warned me about this. No problem. Tomorrow, I'll get it right. That evening, he did something else. He put up a big chart on his wall with his goals written on it. Beside each goal, he drew small boxes. Every time he completed a task, he ticked a box. In the following days, he slowly started building the habit of waking up early. For the first time, he went jogging in the park. Feeling the cold wind and seeing other people running, he realized he had to start taking life seriously. Back home, he read the next part of the chapter. Break your goals into smaller, manageable steps. A big goal can feel overwhelming. So, he divided his fitness goal into smaller tasks. Week 1, jog for just 15 minutes. Week 2, jog for 20 minutes. Gradually increase to 30 minutes. The first chapter became like a guide for his life. He read it again and again, applying it to his daily routine. But life is never that simple. One day, his mother called. Why haven't you called us for the last 2 weeks? We're worried here, she said. Riddick realized he had been so focused on his goals that he had stopped talking to his family. He immediately called her back and listened to her carefully. He realized that setting clear goals didn't just mean career or fitness. It also meant balancing relationships. He took out his notebook and added another goal. Call parents every week and spend time with them. Slowly, Riddick's life began to change. Every night, before sleeping, he reviewed his day. If he missed a task, he added it to the next day's list. The first chapter taught him that goals aren't just for writing, they are for living. Goals gave his life a direction. But this was just the beginning. The first chapter was only a glimpse. There were more chapters left to read and apply. If you like our free summaries, you can subscribe to our channel, buy our membership, or support us via UPI. Back to the summary. Riddick smiled to himself, thinking, Let's see how this book changes my life. Over the next few days, Riddick made good progress on his first set of goals. His wall chart had many boxes ticked, and every tick gave him a new burst of energy. He felt it was time to read the next chapter. After dinner that night, he sat in a quiet corner of his flat, the book in front of him. He removed the cloth bookmark and turned the page. The second lesson was develop a routine. As soon as he read it, he realized this had always been his biggest weakness. His life was so unorganized that nothing ever went according to plan. Sometimes he stayed up late at night, sometimes he woke up late in the morning, and weekends just slipped away. The book said, creating a consistent daily routine helps in building habits that reinforce discipline. A structured schedule minimizes distractions and promotes productivity by allocating specific times for tasks. Riddick realized that if he truly wanted discipline in his life, he needed to adopt a strict routine. But he also told himself, routine doesn't mean life will be boring. It means I'll learn to use my time wisely. He immediately opened his notebook and wrote his perfect routine. 1. Wake up at 6 a.m. 2. Exercise from 6:10 to 7 o'clock. 3. Breakfast by 7:30. 4. Work from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. 5. Lunch break for 1 hour. 6. Work again from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. 7. 1 hour in the evening for study/skills/reflection. 8. Sleep by 10 p.m. Planning a routine was easy. Following it would be the hard part. The next morning, his alarm rang at 6 a.m. Just like before, he was tempted to hit snooze, but this time he remembered, I can't go back to my old habits. He turned off the alarm and got out of bed immediately. The first few days were tough. His body protested during workouts, and sometimes he wondered if making a routine was a mistake. But slowly he began to enjoy it. The biggest benefit was his productivity. When he sat down to work, his focus was entirely on the task. He knew he had already allocated time for everything, so there was no rush. One day, his manager told him, Riddick, you've done more work this week than almost anyone here. Are you okay? Riddick smiled. Just getting a bit disciplined, sir. At home that evening, he realized routine wasn't just about managing time. It was about making life better. In his free time, he started reading new books. Every night before bed, he reviewed his day. But life wasn't all straight lines. One Sunday, his friend Rahul called. Bro, let's go watch a movie. Riddick hesitated. Going meant missing his evening study session. But then he thought, routine doesn't mean I stop enjoying life. Sometimes breaks are necessary. He learned something new. Routine is not strict rules, it's balance. He adjusted his schedule to include free time for family, friends, or just rest. The book even said, a rigid routine can sometimes feel like a burden. Allow flexibility to accommodate unexpected events. His routine had made him a better person. Tasks that he once pushed to the last minute were now done on time. But again, the journey wasn't over. Routine was just the start. A few weeks later, Riddick was comfortable with his routine. Waking up early, exercising, and spending his day productively had become part of his habit. But life doesn't always run smoothly. One evening after work, feeling tired, he thought of taking a little rest. He turned on the TV and, without realizing it, wasted 3 hours watching serials. When he looked at the wall chart that night, he felt embarrassed. Everything was going so well. And today I'm back to my old habits, he said to himself. That night, he opened the book and turned to the next chapter. The third lesson was embrace self-control. The very first line shook him. Self-control is essential to resist temptations. Resisting short-term pleasures in favor of long-term goals is the foundation of disciplined living. Riddick thought, this is my biggest problem. I always run after short-term pleasure, whether it's hours of scrolling social media or doing things that go against my bigger goals. Another powerful line caught his attention. Distractions are everywhere, and they often disguise themselves as harmless breaks. But every small temptation adds up to derail your progress. From the next day, Riddick resolved to bring self-control into his life. First, he identified his biggest distraction, his phone. He deleted all unnecessary apps and set a screen time limit. He decided he would check social media only once a day for 15 minutes. The first day was hard. Many times, he wanted to pick up his phone. But he remembered the book's message. Self-control isn't about avoiding everything. It's about understanding your priorities and saying no to what goes against your goals. A bigger challenge came on a Saturday evening when his friends called him to a party. He knew if he went, the whole night would be gone, and there was no chance he'd wake up for his workout the next morning. He asked himself, should I go, or should I focus on my long-term goals? Then he remembered, every time you resist a temptation, you take one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. He decided not to go. He apologized to his friends and explained that he was working on his life right now. It wasn't easy. Part of him feared they'd think he was boring. But the next morning, when he woke up on time and followed his routine, he felt proud of his decision. One day, while reading the book, he saw this line: discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. He realized self-control was important not just for big decisions, but for small daily habits. For example, at the office, he had a habit of eating sweets after lunch. He decided to give that up. The first time he saw his favorite gulab jamun and told himself, no, this is against my fitness goal, he understood how difficult, yet necessary, self-control really was. The book gave another tip. The key to mastering self-control is to remind yourself of your bigger goals whenever a temptation arises. So Riddick started keeping things in front of him that reminded him of his goals, his notebook, the wall chart, and his own journey. Gradually, his ability to resist grew. Whenever a distraction appeared, he asked himself, will this bring me closer to my goals or take me further away? A few weeks later, a new challenge came at work, a project that required late nights. Before, he would have found excuses to avoid it. But now, with self-control, he managed his time, adjusting his routine so the project wouldn't affect his other habits. Riddick realized self-control isn't just about ignoring distractions. It's also about handling difficult situations better. This lesson had opened another door in his life. Those who can control their small desires can achieve big things. And so, Riddick decided to keep moving forward. This is only the beginning, he told himself as he gently closed the book, ready for the next chapter. By now, Riddick's life was changing. Routine and self-control were part of him. He felt more productive and calmer than ever. But something still bothered him. Many times while working, his mind wandered. He'd be in the middle of a task, and suddenly a memory from the past or a worry about the future would pop up. One evening in his balcony, he thought, I've worked on discipline and self-control, but why does my focus drift like this? He opened the book to the next chapter. The fourth lesson was practice mindfulness. The book said, mindfulness helps maintain focus and reduce anxiety. By being present in the moment, individuals can better manage their thoughts and emotions, leading to improved decision-making and productivity. Reading this, Riddick felt this might be the answer to his biggest problem. I often live either in the past or in the future, he thought. Maybe I'm failing to live in the present. Another line caught his attention. The mind is like a monkey, always jumping from one thought to another. Mindfulness helps you tame this monkey and bring it to the present moment. Riddick decided to apply this lesson immediately. The next morning, after his workout, he tried mindfulness meditation. He found a quiet spot in his balcony, closed his eyes, and began deep breathing. At first, his mind wandered everywhere. Office work, old arguments, future worries. But he told himself, let thoughts come and go. I'll keep focusing on my breath. Gradually, he felt his thoughts slow down. With each breath, his mind grew calmer. For the first time, he felt like he could control his own mind. The book explained, mindfulness is not about stopping thoughts. It's about noticing them without judgment and gently bringing your attention back to the present. Riddick made mindfulness part of his daily routine. 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes before bed. The effects were clear. At work, his focus improved. If his mind drifted, he'd take a few deep breaths and return to the task. During a stressful project at work, while others panicked, Riddick stayed calm and broke his tasks into small steps. His team leader praised his steady approach. Mindfulness also improved his personal life. When talking to friends or family, he gave them his full attention. One day, he called his mother and promised himself to listen to every word carefully. Earlier, he would just say yes, okay, and end the call. Now, he responded thoughtfully and understood her feelings. Mindfulness reduced his anxiety, too. Earlier, he would worry over small things. Now, whenever stress came, he took a deep breath and reminded himself, I am in this moment. This is the only reality. The rest is just my mind's game. He wrote one line from the book on his wall. The present moment is the only place where life truly exists. Learn to live in it. Gradually, mindfulness became part of his life. He realized it wasn't just about meditation. It could be present in eating, working, or talking. A few weeks later, Riddick was comfortable with his routine. Waking up early, exercising, and spending his day productively had become part of his habit. But life doesn't always run smoothly. One evening, sitting in his balcony, he looked at the sky. The sun was setting, the clouds were tinged with orange. He fully experienced that moment. Earlier, he would have ignored such small things, but now he knew. These moments make life beautiful. This lesson had transformed his thinking. He told himself, if I can learn to live every moment fully, maybe every challenge will feel easier. And with that, he closed the book, ready for the next chapter. Riddick's life was now on track. Mindfulness, self-control, and routine had made him more productive and peaceful. But life doesn't always go according to plan. One day, he was given a big responsibility at work, a project he had planned in detail, discussed with his team, and was confident about finishing on time. But as the deadline approached, things fell apart. Some team members missed their own deadlines, and Riddick's work fell behind. No matter how much effort he put in, the pressure was overwhelming. On the day of submission, the project was incomplete. His manager called him in and expressed disappointment. Riddick was furious with himself. I worked so hard, yet failed. Maybe I'm just not cut out for this, he thought. That evening, feeling like all his effort had gone to waste, he sat in his balcony and opened the book to the next chapter. The fifth lesson was learn from failures. The very first line made him think. Failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone to success. Discipline evolves by learning from setbacks rather than being discouraged by them. The book continued. Every failure carries a lesson. It's up to you to find it and use it to grow stronger. Riddick closed the book for a moment. Can I actually learn from my failure? Is this really a chance to become better? For the next few days, he carefully reviewed the project. He identified what went wrong. He hadn't paid attention to some small details, like holding regular check-ins with the team, and had tried to handle too much work by himself instead of delegating. He realized the failure wasn't proof that he was incapable. It was proof that his process needed improvement. From that day, Riddick decided that every time he failed, he would find a lesson hidden inside and use it to improve himself. This chapter taught him one of the most powerful truths. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the journey toward it. And with this realization, Riddick smiled, closed the book, and looked forward to the next lesson life, and the book would bring.